Hello folks, welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. I hope everybody is being divinely guided today and having a wonderful time. Thank you so much for joining me here today, and I want to thank everybody for being here, whether you are brand new, returning, new subscriber, or this is your very first time. Welcome, welcome one and all. So I thought today what we would do is we would do a little reading and checking in with messages from our divine feminine, that aspect of self that is beautiful and intuitive and creative and knowing exactly who they are and really sort of in touch with everything that it means to be sort of connectedness. So I thought we would check in with that energy, and we are going to be calling on the goddess Brigid today more than any other. She is the goddess of the hearth. She is originally a pagan goddess, and then I believe she is a Christian saint now. I'm not too sure on the Christian aspect of self, but I know that she was a pagan saint. She was a pagan goddess, Celtic goddess. And actually, fun fact, she had so many followers that when they moved over to Britain, that's the reason why Britain is called Britain, because of the Brigid followers. She was so popular as a goddess for worship in Ireland that, again, all of those people moved over, and that's why Britain's called Britain, as well as United Kingdom and England and all sorts of other various names that Britain has. So we are going to honor her power today, and we are definitely going to call in messages of love and light, again, of creativity, messages that resonate with you now, that will help you and guide you to either increase or integrate or just be more in tune with your divine feminine, because that is what is the energy that's rising right now from 3D to 5D. The divine feminine, we're seeing it every day rise up in each and every one of us and all throughout the world, compassion and beauty. So as always, what we are doing, we have the three piles. Today we have pile 1, we have turquoise, and then this amethyst crystal here on pile 2, and then the clear quartz on pile 3. So go ahead, and we're going to ground into our energy and create our circle of light here. If you need more time, as always, please take as much time as you need, particularly on this reading, because it's all about intuition, right? So take as much time as you need. Pause the video if you need to figure out which pile is speaking to your heart for the messages that you need. And as always, they will be time-stamped down below, so you can go straight to your pile and find your particular message pertaining to your wonderful inner guide, divine feminine today. All right, so let's just put these ones aside just for now, but we will be coming back to them momentarily. So, pile 1, if you chose pile 1, this is a timeless reading, and we are reading again. This is messages from your divine self, your divine feminine aspect of self, with particular messages from the goddess Brigid. All right, let's see what we have here. Queen of the Unicorns, you are blessed with love, compassion, and wisdom. Enlightened heart and mind, channel clearly. Partnership, complete and move on. 3 of Summer, news worth celebrating, announcements such as weddings, graduations, births, and friends you cherish. 2 of Winter, indecision is holding you back. Make the choice that's best for you rather than trying to please others. Then we have Love, Venus, and then the 9 of Pentacles. All right, so let's sit here for a second. So I feel as though pile 1, the messages that I'm getting about your divine feminine is that you have worked a lot on honoring yourself first and self-love, and actually you've really been working on the divine feminine, I feel as though, within yourself. And the first message is well done, and you've done some beautiful work. I feel as though there's an aspect of self that wants to channel for the collective, and I feel as though for most of you, and again, this is a timeless reading. It's also a general reading. So let's see if this pertains to some of you. But I feel as though a lot of you are sort of earth angels and been put here to actually support the divine feminine in many ways, which means that you came in before you had many lives where you held the wisdom of the divine feminine, and it probably wasn't protected the way that it is in this lifetime, which is good news for this lifetime. But there's been some pain and a little bit of suffering that's needed to be released from your past lives. There's also this sort of pent up anger I feel in here, pile one, in your heart too. There's a real anger towards, or let's just say passion. We're going to use the word passion, but we're going to come back to the word anger. There's the real passion in your heart, pile one, for not tolerating injustice or ignorance. And I feel as though the message that I'm getting for you, pile one, is it's stop trying to be nice. I feel as though this has happened a couple of times in readings recently, so it keeps coming up. I feel as though there's an aspect of self that's a little bit of a people pleaser. But in a way, here's the thing. I feel as though you've moved beyond the ego. You're no longer working within the ego. But you're also no longer... you're figuring out your own spirituality. So you're the sort of person who has an immense amount of wisdom and really sort of takes from different aspects of sort of religion or different kind of spiritual thoughts and puts your own sense of love and passion and compassion to all of that. So I feel as though you stand in your own power and you have many different sort of facades to your personality. And I feel as though that's a beautiful thing. In some ways, I feel as though it has gone against you before because you're so open to people coming into your life that when there is, when you're sort of in and around people of low frequency or some sort of ignorant or narrow-minded sort of viewpoint that really doesn't allow for the sort of openness that we're now experiencing or trying to embrace in this world, then you feel as though there's an aspect of yourself that tries to tolerate it, but then you get really angry inside. And what you're doing now, if there's a pattern of sort of depression and then anger, what you're doing is you're taking that anger inside, you're dulling down your voice, and then it turns into depression because it's actually anger. So this is what we're going to do. So this is your message, pile one. You are here to keep the peace in some way, but the way in which you can keep the peace in this lifetime is to speak your truth and to speak your voice. You don't have to put up with ignorance or arrogance or the old way of thinking. And the partnership is within complete and move on. The partnership in you is that you made a sort of what do you say? You made an agreement with yourself that you would no longer deal with ignorance, because this is the energy that you've been brought up in many, many different ways and in past lives. Like I said, you've had a lot of wisdom. You've come in with a lot of wisdom, a lot of divine feminine wisdom, which was not protected in past lives. And I feel as though you decided in this life that you were going to cut it out and you weren't going to deal with it at all. But when you come in and around it, you're not able to actually integrate it or let it go in a way that you thought that you could. So this anger is going within and turning into depression. But this is what we're going to do. Complete and move on. Redefine your truth. You're here to bring truth. You have all of this wisdom, and you do have the dove of truth here and the dove of peace. But in order for you to actually move into the path completely and move into the aspect of the divine feminine where you embody the divine feminine in every sense of the word, is that you don't have to put up with ignorance at all or deal with it. You can actually say something about it. There is a part of you that's wanted to keep the peace or thought that you could shut out the ignorance or, what we consider sort of the old outmoded ways of thinking. And this is actually turning turning your stomach in a way, I feel as though, and there's this cycle of sort of depression and then sort of anger and then depression and then sort of anger. And this is because you're dumbing down your voice. So the message that I'm getting, particularly from the Divine Feminine, Brigid here, is that, you know, a lot of the goddesses and the Divine Feminine is, you can put people in your place, in their place if you want to. This idea of spirituality where we have to be really, really nice. Sometimes people need to be told exactly what they need to be told. So what they're saying, the one message that I'm getting is for your partnership to really complete and click into your actual Divine Feminine and to use your truth, is to complete and move on this understanding that you have to be nice and please everybody, or not engage with ignorance in order to rise above it. To rise above it, you can use your truth. Feel free to put people in your place. And then by using your voice, you can turn this anger into passion and move forward. You're really not here in this lifetime in any way, shape or form to put up with anything less than the Divine Masculine or the Divine Feminine being supported. So when you see something of this nature, it's really not in your nature to turn your back on it and say, that's who they are. That's, you know, yes, absolutely, that is who they are. You're not trying to change anyone by any stretch of the imagination, but you are trying to improve the earth, and you are here to show your light and your truth. And if there is a universal truth, there is absolutely a universal truth that comes into compassion and intuition, and you hold that within your core. So if you see somebody who is coming up with old stuff and just putting out the old propaganda of like anything that's not anything that's sort of hate-filled or really narrow-minded, or just supporting aspects of the patriarchy that you just don't agree with, you know, yes, it's okay to disengage with that. Absolutely, protect yourself from it. But you can also speak up, say your piece, and then get out. What you're not trying to do is be liked or be accepted by those who don't understand you. There was a part in your life when you were trying to, but you've gone way beyond that now. You're not trying to be liked or be accepted, but you can say your piece. And I feel as though the message that I'm getting, pile one, is that the time for being nice in all circumstances is over. The time for using your truth and trusting your intuition when to speak up and then disengage will really stop the cycle of not feeling as though you're really completely in touch with your own voice. And this depression that you're feeling is inner anger that you are not expressing. Now, if you do not express that inner anger, where you're going to keep on going with these cycles of depression. But also the other thing is that you might blow up with the wrong person, because it will come out in other ways. Self-care comes from actually standing your ground and standing for what you believe in. There was an aspect growing up where those around you sort of seen and not heard. You weren't really encouraged to use your voice, or to sort of stand your own ground, or to really proclaim who you were specifically, let alone be given the space to put other people in their place. So it may feel a little strange for you, but it's time to do that. And those who are really in line with your energy and your frequency will totally understand why you're doing that. You're not doing that to be mean. And, when you do speak your piece, it will be from your heart and in your intuition. Your intuition will tell you when to speak up. It will be from your heart. No one's advocating that you go out there and you name call or do any of that stuff. Again, you're not working from your ego. You don't need to worry about that. But you can also present another way to be, and then you can get out. And that way you've at least spoken your truth. So I feel as though the idea of pleasing absolutely everybody by not engaging and just allowing people to be has been taken twofold, a little bit too far down the path. So you're not going to be doing that anymore. The enlightened heart and mind channel clearly when you embrace all aspects of the divine feminine and stand up for it in your own way, speaking from your own truth and bringing in wisdom, you are pulling in the magic, blessed with love, compassion, and wisdom. Again, please trust your voice. The way in which you're dulling your voice down, it might actually come out in weird ways if you don't speak the voice when your intuition tells you to. You can trust that you won't revert or revert to the sort of energy that may be in and around you. Again, name calling or anything like that. You're not doing that, and you're not using your voice in order to make somebody else feel better or make somebody else feel worse or belittle them. But what you're doing is speaking your truth in all aspects and showing your light and your magic and the wisdom that you've brought in. You have the wisdom of the divine feminine. You work with the goddesses, whether you realize it or not. You have a very, very, very strong sense of self in that. There's no reason to dull it down in any shape or form. So if you're feeling as though a situation is angering you in some way and you feel as though you want to say something, go ahead and do that. Don't dull it down anymore. No more trying to please them or trying to be sort of, there's many ways that you can be sort of a peacekeeper. I feel as though you've either had the label peacekeeper put upon you, projected upon you, or you felt as though you needed to, or maybe you picked up the idea that you needed to, or it was projected upon you and then you decided to run with it. But there's many different ways to be a peacekeeper, and using your wisdom and speaking your voice is one of them. I feel as though here the brand new celebration of self is when you complete the aspect of coming in together with all aspects of self, with the divine feminine rising up inside of you, including using the voice to protect those who are also rising within the divine feminine and protect your wisdom from many generations and what it is that you believe and the beauty that you believe. Now, it will do many things when you actually use your voice in ways that you're not necessarily used to. You may be on the precipice of using your voice like that, but you're not exactly used to it yet. You may have started coming into it, but your power will be definitely integrated further. You'll actually bring in more of your soul family because you'll be projecting your voice out there, and your energy will be higher. I can tell you what happens when you dull your voice down and you don't stand for truth in the way that you want to. It lowers your frequency, which goes into the depression too. So, excuse me. So the message is that when you speak your truth, your frequency is higher. It's going to pull the celebration to you. It's going to pull your light and the people who see your light and solidarity and compassion to you. You're also going to radiate the kind of love that's in line with the understanding of the divine feminine in this lifetime. Again, you are definitely here to prevail in what you were not able to prevail in before, because the times were violent, unfortunately, and the divine feminine was not protected. In fact, it was hunted down and awful things happened. But you're not here for that anymore, and you've worked on releasing all of the memories from that. I feel as though you are just ready to use your voice. You're on the precipice of learning how to use your voice. Divine feminine is saying step up and use it when your intuition tells you. No more Mr. Nice Guy, no more Mr. Nice Lady, or no more Mr. Nice Them. It's really up to you to stand for truth, and you have a very particular kind of truth. They're asking you to redefine your idea of truth. You can bring truth to the people. You can bring truth and still be fierce in what you're saying, and still say things that might actually piss people off, but pardon my French, but it doesn't matter. It's still grounded in truth, and that's the truth that you're here to bring. So no more subjecting your truth, quote unquote. Well, it's not a quote unquote. No more subjecting your truth to needing to be the right time. Let's wait for the right time to say something. The right time is when you feel like you need to. So bringing out your truth, this idea of really integrating your understanding of truth, complete and move on. You're not here to necessarily protect ignorance. And by not stepping up in your truth and saying what needs to be said, sometimes that might seem harsh when you say it, but again, you're not coming from the ego. You're just saying your truth. Now, the offside of that might be that you're putting somebody in their place, but again, you're not trying to do that. You're not doing this from the ego. You're not trying to protect that understanding of self and being in the world anymore. So step up your truth, get out there, and when your intuition tells you to speak it, speak from the heart, and let your fierceness and passion out. And that way it won't roll into anger, and you won't be going through these depression little episodes anymore where you're kind of feeling, because you're dumbing down your voice. Again, all of the love and light is coming to you. And this is the final aspect of really integrating the new divine feminine into your soul. You've done a long journey here of releasing the old, and, you know, everything that you've done in between of trying to please people that weren't really great around you and trying to keep the peace as the peacemaker. You're no longer doing that. You've done a lot to release even past life connections and memories from that. This is your final sort of new beginning, walking into your final aspect of self, giving it to people the way that they should be getting the truth. Whether they like it or not, they can walk away from it. You don't need to be affected by their reaction to it, but you do need to be affected by the fact that your truth needs to come out and not be pulled and pushed and shoved down within. So I'm really proud of you, Pile One. If this resonated with you, with messages here, timeless messages from our wonderful goddess Brigid, and particularly, of course, the Divine Feminine, feel free to give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I do read all the comments, and I do appreciate all of the beautiful comments and the lovely little internet unicorn light family that we have here. And thank you for everybody who keeps coming back and checking in with more love and light and messages from the goddesses. So thanks again, Pile One. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, Pile Two, if this is you and you chose the amethyst here, this is a timeless reading. We are pulling in some messages from the Divine Feminine, particularly from the goddess Brigid here. So let's just get in and see what we have. Divine sight, see the divine in everyone. Okay, enlightened heart and mind, risk versus safety. Enlightened heart and mind, active versus pattern. Okay, we have a few things here already. Okay, a few messages here already. 8 of winter. You have what it takes if only you believe in yourself. Okay. 10 of summer here, an emotional fulfilling life with family and friends. Okay. Ace and Pentacles. Then we have the 10 of Swords reversed. So the first message that I'm getting for you, Pile Two, is really beautiful. It's a return to self, and a return to self-worth and self-love. I feel as though there's sort of like a balance here of, and again, this is a general reading, so let's try and pick up on all the messages that I'm getting. There's a balance of really wanting, really wanting a family and a fulfilling life, and then what it is that you are supposed to do in this lifetime. So there's a few different things that you want in this lifetime, and I feel as though that shifts. Sometimes you are more concentrated on the love and the family stuff, and sometimes you are more concentrated on following your path. You are definitely sort of light workers and energy healers, I feel, for the most part. You came in with a lot of truth. I feel as though there's been a little bit of dichotomy here, and let's see if we can figure this out and get you some great messages and move you on. There's been a little bit of confusion and a little bit of pain, especially carried in your heart, Pile Two. It really breaks my heart. But the preciousness that you have and that you are, I feel as though there has been, and the wisdom that you hold, there has been a lot of doubt over the years of how to express it. And again, this is very different energy from pile one, but I feel as though the message is going to be very, very similar. So if you're feeling called to pile one, pile two, feel free to go back and listen to that message too. But the energy is different. So there is a little bit of sort of this balance of when to express yourself and when to protect yourself, when to be out there. And I feel as though there's some old energy too. You definitely brought in wisdom, as did everybody with pile one who chose pile one, but you came in with a lot of wisdom. And a lot of magic, your own personal magic. But I feel as though in past lives, as we all know in history, the divine feminine was not protected, unfortunately, in those lifetimes. So there's still a little bit. Now, I feel as though pile one, and it's not a matter of who's done more work, but I feel as though there's a little bit of sort of the embellishment, pile two, for you, of a little bit more of that echo of, if I speak my voice and if I speak my truth, will somebody sort of, what will be the repercussions? Even like things like, will they hurt my family? Will they, if whatever it is that I've protected or I've built in this lifetime, could that be torn down? Now, it sounds a little extreme, or a little intense, but let's get to the bottom of this. The simple answer is no, of course they won't. And that's not what you're here to do. You are here in this lifetime, to help the divine feminine and protect it in this lifetime. And it will not be treated the way that it was in the previous lifetimes. However, there's echoes of the old life that still sort of regurgitates. And that's the right word to use here, that I'm being told. So the wisdom, so there's a little bit of nugget of wisdom that you are always protecting, because you're afraid to put it out there because you don't know if there'll be repercussions. And you're always trying to balance the active versus the passive, and the risk versus the safety of putting yourself out there, when to say something, when not to, when to use your wisdom. The other part of it is that you might be completely open-hearted and very free with your wisdom, but it will be in sort of smaller circles that you've already established that are safe. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with this. No one's asking you to go out of your safety zone. And that's not what this message is about. This message, pile two, is just alerting you to the fact that you've done all the work and you don't need to worry about this. Your wisdom and the seeds in which that you have planted in many other lifetimes have actually sprouted and will come to fruition in this lifetime. You have a uniqueness to your voice, a uniqueness to your truth that actually shifts people's perspectives. And it's really, really important for you to believe in that truth and to stop weighing up the active versus the passive, and the risk versus the safety, and just concentrate on the enlightened heart and mind. I feel as though you try and balance so much that you balance yourself out of the balance, if that makes any sense. So I feel as though there's so many opportunities for you to get out there, but the whatever is growing inside of you, you are doubting because you are really trying to figure out, maybe I should go in this direction or that direction. Maybe I should use my voice here and use my voice there. The message is that you have divine sight. You see the divine in everyone. It's right here. So the message is, use your voice and your truth everywhere. You don't have to weigh up situations anymore. Absolutely. Wherever it is that you're using your voice already, it's a given, and that's a beautiful place for you to be. But don't be afraid of opening up your truth to whoever wants to hear it. Now, the people who don't appreciate it will fall away. You don't need to worry about them. You're not here to bring, you know, your truth and your wisdom and your beauty to people who don't want to listen to it. You're not going to waste your time with them. They're not going to hurt you. You're not going to hurt them. There is ultimate protection in this lifetime for the divine feminine. It is rising. It's already risen. And you've decided, pile 2, to come back because this is the generation where your wisdom will finally be accepted and your voice and light will be out there. You can have everything you want. You can have the grounding of an emotionally fulfilling life, you know, with family and friends, and you can also be a truth seeker. You don't constantly have to weigh in one or the other. If I do this, will this be taken away from me? Or, you know, will that affect my family or my standing or this, that, and the other? You don't have to keep weighing up any of this risk factor anymore. Concentrate on your heart and your mind, the truth that is in your heart. And also, we have the Ace of Pentacles here. This this truth and this divine light that you have, again, it never really, you've sprouted all of this. You've started growing all of these seeds in many different lifetimes. They've come back here now. Whatever it is that you have, the truth that you have, again, you have a unique perspective on this. So the other thing that I'm hearing is that you sometimes wonder if you should move into doing X, Y, and Z, because a part of you is like, well, everybody else is doing this. Everybody else is doing that. So, you know, the very specific message I'm getting for you, pile 2, is that is absolute rubbish. Stop telling yourself that. I absolutely promise you that what you're doing specifically, nobody else is doing. So when you start pulling yourself out of or talking yourself out of things because you don't think your wisdom is enough or it's not unique enough, other people are doing it. Remind yourself that you've been working on this stuff and this kind of wisdom, bringing it in from many, many different generations and many different lifetimes. And it's absolutely not true that people are doing what you're doing. Your spin on things is absolutely unique. So yes, so it's enlightened heart and mind is what you focus on, not trying to balance the risk and the safety. Should I not? You always need to stand in your power and move forward with your wisdom. Baby steps. The goddess has you in your sight. So all you have to do is take one baby step and then you will find out the next step. So don't worry. And the other thing that you do, pile 2, and they're saying you don't need to worry about this at all, is that when you do decide on something and you start taking those baby steps, you start worrying that if it's not happening quickly enough, you're like, am I on the right path? And then you start doubting yourself. They're reminding you again. We keep coming back to this card. You have everything that all of your wisdom that you have planted before sprouted in this lifetime. It will come back to you. The timeline is set. It will come back to you. You don't have to worry about being on the right track. If you have decided on something, check in with your intuition. If it feels right, move forward. It may, if you're waiting for, not necessarily the rewards, but if you're waiting for signs to make sure that you're on the right path, the fact that you're here is telling you that you're on the right path. You're absolutely on the right path. I feel as though there's been a fear before, pile 2, because you veered down different paths before and you don't want to waste your time anymore by doing that. Well, the message is from the divine feminine that you may have veered off before, but all of that veering was very important because you learned very important lessons in that veering. But no, you're not veering anymore. You're very firmly on your path, and whatever it is that you put out there, that energy is coming back. So don't worry about the risks or anything like that. Just sit with your intuition. If it feels right, your intuition is second to none. If it feels right, move forward. Listen to your guidance, baby steps forward. You don't have to worry about the repercussions in this lifetime. You don't have to worry about weighing one side up with the other. You can have a fulfilling life with your family, protect them, still speak your truth, still be out there and be extremely powerful, and do everything completely on your own terms. You have exactly what it takes. You do need to believe in yourself and the truth. So let's do this. We're going to turn this back up. The 10 of Swords here with all of your truth. you really have defined what it is, what your truth is, and your unique voice. Now, there's an aspect of you that does actually know that your voice is unique, and you're worried again of the repercussions. I feel like there's a lot of worry about like showing your uniqueness out there, because you feel as though you won't be accepted either if you put out the uniqueness and the perspective. And then the other side of you is you talk yourself out of things because you believe you're not unique enough. I feel as though you've got yourself into this way of thinking, pile 2, where you can't really win, or you've not been able to win before. So come out of that perspective completely. Stop weighing the risks. Embrace your uniqueness. Know that everybody needs your voice the way in which you're doing it. Nobody else is doing what you're doing. You can use your voice in any way that you possibly want. Return to your truth. And I would say any way that you can, meditation, out in the woods, however you do it, really go back and really redeem and pull up your truth again. You've dulled your truth down a little bit, and you also have watered your truth down sometimes to try to be nice. And what the Divine Feminine is saying is you don't need to do that. Wield your truth. I mean, look at these goddesses. Some of them are fiery, crazies a little bit. Do you know what I mean? They're warrior princesses. You don't have to dumb anything down. They want you to reunite yourself with your truth in its totality without dumbing it down. Embrace the uniqueness and the soul essence of who you are, and then go out there and present it to the world without any risk factors. They've got your back in this lifetime. You don't need to worry about it. And also trust yourself. You're not going to put yourself in any of these situations where it's absolutely ridiculous. And of course, there's going to be some repercussions. Your intuition is absolutely impeccable. You put yourself into situations where you know you're going to be heard. Maybe you won't always be completely appreciated, but again, you're not there to give the message to that person. It doesn't matter. You're protected in the way that your voice and your wisdom and your uniqueness will get out there to the right people. And that's what you're here to do. So reconnect with all of your wisdom that you have gathered from every lifetime. Don't worry about constantly figuring out the risks and trying to balance everything. Just listen to your intuition and let I keep getting high priestess too. You've got a high priestess voice and vibe. You're supposed to be out there doing this. You can't keep weighing up. You just got to go into the fray and know that you're going to be okay. You are absolutely divinely protected. And when I say the fray, I mean of your own truth. I don't mean like start a war, but really get out there with your own truth and reconnect to your own truth in your absolute, complete truth and what it is, without anybody's interference. And I'm really excited for your journey because, there's definitely you coming into your own and doing things a little bit differently. And don't be afraid of being a little bit more forceful with your voice. You're okay doing that. Just get out there and be yourself. So pile 2, if that resonated with you, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I would love that. I would also love to hear from you in the comments. Feel free to go ahead and comment in the sections I always say that. I do read every comment, and I really, really appreciate all the loving and beautiful comments and the fact that everybody's coming together and creating a lovely little safe haven and a little safe space for beauty and light. Our little corner here on the internet at Unicorn Light Tarot. So thank you for being part of that. Take care and bye-bye. Okay, pile 3. If this is you, this is your timeless reading from messages from the Divine Feminine, particularly Goddess Brigid. We are tuning in with today. Magic. There is magic around you, so expect excitement and joy. Well, you couldn't ask for a better card, right? First one. Enlightened heart and mind. Regroup. Enlightened heart and mind. Complete and move on. Okay, let's see. I feel as though we've had something very similar in another reading. 10 of Winter, the resolution of difficulties. A weight has been lifted off your shoulders. Incredible. Princess of Winter, this is you. Inquisitive, truthful, realistic, undiplomatic. Good for you. Queen of Swords. reversed, and then we have the Five of Staves. So I've already said, I think I mentioned this is a timeless reading, and of course this is a general reading, but I do want to state there are some very similar energies, not energies, there are some similar messages that are going through each of the piles. The energies are extremely different though. So if you feel as though you want to go back to either pile 1 or 2, pile 3 afterwards and get a little extra message, I think some of those messages may resonate with you too. It's very much, I feel as though everybody's at different sort of tides, pile 1, pile 2, and you definitely are pile 3. But I feel as though you've just come into this understanding of how to use your voice and how to wield your truth. And I feel as though, as I think we said, an aspect of pile 2, but particularly with pile 1, the idea of being a peacemaker, the understanding of being a peacemaker has just shifted for you. The definition of peacemaker has just shifted for you. And the Divine Feminine is so proud of you. The way in which you've stepped up and moved into your particular voice, and the way in which you are in the world. I feel as though you did dumb down your truth. You did dumb down your voice. I felt as though for you, there were a few different reasons. You were, as pile 1 and pile 2, a little bit afraid of the repercussions of that, and some of the echoes of coming in with so much wisdom from past lives. Again, when the Divine Feminine was not protected, in fact, the Divine Feminine was hunted in previous lifetimes. Again, the new Divine Feminine has risen. That will not happen in this lifetime. I'm not suggesting that everybody is completely safe out there. Of course they are. I am suggesting that. But the way in which all of this sort of happened before, the way in which the Divine Feminine was not protected and hunted down in this lifetime is shifting. That energy has shifted. And they are being protected. The beginning of the protection of the Divine Feminine has already started and is in kinetic energy right now. And of course, we're moving toward that in every way, shape, or form and protecting sisters all over the earth. And you are part of that movement. But I feel as though that's already given. So you already know that. You already know you came in with magic and wisdom. But the most important message that you are getting in this reading is that your version of the truth, your version of how it is to step up to the plate, to loyalty to yourself versus loyalty to the masses has changed. And I feel as though you've been trying to keep the peace, or maybe not draw attention to yourself to the sort of the old ways of thinking that are breaking down already, like agents of the patriarchy, this kind of very narrow-minded, hate-filled, non-open sort of mind and heart, where it's this understanding or this ideology of us versus them. You're not carrying that, but I feel as though your version of wisdom before, you were afraid to speak, your actual wisdom at full caliber, at full speed, as it were, because you didn't want to attract that energy anymore. And again, that was echoes from past life. But what you've done now, and of course that dumbed down your truth a little bit, and the sadness of not actually owning your truth in the way that you wanted to, got expressed as anger and a little bit of sadness that kept into your heart and chipped away at a little bit of the understanding of who you were. But the good news is, and the message is that you've just recently understood the understanding of loyalty to yourself and your own truth has now come forward and is now primary in your life, which means that you have information that can help, but may also be difficult to hear. This is you speaking the truth with kindness. You're an indigo child or adult. Now, you are able to speak the truth with kindness, but not everybody will be interested in the truth. And you now know that. So you don't feel as though you need to be diplomatic. You feel as though you bringing your truth to the world is far more important than being diplomatic. And that is realistic to you. So your loyalty to yourself and to your truth and being out there that perspective has completely changed. You've really embraced a real aspect of self and a real sort of resolution of your divinity in a brand new way that you've not previously done. So you'll be able to take your magic and your essence of truth, because you've put yourself first, and your loyalty to yourself, to your path, to your wisdom, to your life first. And then what comes secondary is other people's opinions of you, and people who, again, may not want to hear the truth. They may react to it. They may not want to hear it. They may not be ready for it. But you're saying, pardon my French, feck 'em. It doesn't matter. I'm here. My loyalty is to rise with the divine feminine. My loyalty is to protect others. And if I don't have that loyalty and speak my truth in the way that I'm supposed to, then others may actually, I'm not helping the movement move forward. I'm not doing what I should be doing. So this is what you're doing. You've completed and moved on an aspect of self, and you've regrouped the understanding of loyalty. And for the first time, again, you're putting yourself first. The message that I'm getting from the divine feminine, and again, our beautiful goddess Brigid, is that you've really fully embraced the understanding of loyalty to oneself first, and understanding that truth can be painful, and that you don't have to be, in order to be, in the light as a goddess, you can be a warrior too. You can be beautiful and nice and part of the divine feminine, and really embodying aspects of the divine feminine is being clear about the divine masculine too. There is an action to that. And that's what you are doing. In order to protect the divine feminine, you are using your truth in a really, really succinct way. And you've shifted your perspective of loyalty to your truth. You've regrouped, you've completed, and you've moved on. So you've come to, if you've chosen pile threeers, you have come to the understanding that it is your time to stand in your truth and loyalty. Now, you should have already be resonating with this reading if this is for you, because you've come into your divinity. You already know this. So this reading, the message from this reading is telling you that you're on the right track. Do not doubt yourself. They are really the divine feminine messages from the divine feminine. They're very proud of you, of putting the loyalty of your own truth first, and really embracing this princess of winter. There's a naivety and inquisitive aspect to your truthfulness. You are realistic. You can be undiplomatic, and sometimes the situation calls for that. So when it does, do not dumb yourself down. Don't you dare do that, pile three. You get out there, put your loyalty to the truth first, and say what needs to be said. And honestly, if people don't get in touch with it, let them be damned. Let them go. It really doesn't matter. This understanding that you have to make everything okay for everybody else is no longer true. You already know that. Stand in your uniqueness, in your voice, in your truth, everything that you have, and put your loyalty to your truth, integrating into every aspect of yourself first in this lifetime, and everything else secondary will fall into place. They're very proud of you, pile three, for doing this work. I know it was kind of mucky, icky work, learning how to put yourself and your truth and the loyalty to yourself first, and shedding that sort of shyness that you have of speaking your truth no matter what, and also this understanding that other people's opinions do not reflect on you. It's got nothing to do with you. Really shedding that understanding completely, so you can stand in your truth and put that first primary before anything else. That was not a small move for you to do, and now you're ready to do this. So you'll be working with your truth in a brand new way, really, really powerful way in this lifetime, starting very, very soon, because you've done the work to lead you here. So pile three, this is an incredible feat for you. I'm really excited for what it is that you're going to do, and the beauty that you're going to put out there. And honestly, sometimes people need to be put in their place with a little bit of truth. Being undiplomatic sometimes can be a good thing. That's not that you are, don't rely on the fact that you're undiplomatic all of the time. You're not. You just speak from your heart, and you have a raw truth to you. And that's what you're going to be putting out there, and I'm really excited for you. So pile 3, if this resonated with you, feel free to give me a thumbs up. I love hearing from you, especially in the comments. I do read all of the comments, and I really do appreciate everybody stepping up and leaving some beautiful comments and really holding space for our little place, safe space on the internet at Unicorn Light Tarot, where we can come and get some support and some divine light and love and essence from the divine goddess today. So I truly appreciate you being part of this little family. Until we meet again, pile 3, thanks again. Bye-bye.